Thank you all for joining us for another video and welcome back to the channel. Let us kick things off and dive back into the Luzon travel diaries where we have been exploring some of the Philippines' less traveled but equally incredible destinations. Our journey so far has taken us all over Metro Manila, over to Antipolo, then up to Baguio, and now we find ourselves here in Sagada, the adventure capital of the mountain province. We have traveled to many corners of Luzon so far, but for the most part, it has been via bus, tricycle, and jeepney. It is time to switch things up and take matters into our own hands and take control of our own destiny. So we kick off day 2 in Sagada by renting a motorbike.
One-stop shop here in Sagada. This is where we rented our scooter, 1,000 pesos for 1 day, 24 hours. And then here we have Coda Lines, the bus station or the bus ticket office, where we have purchased our tickets for Banaue tomorrow. Perfect, very easy stop here in the center of Sagada. And that's where I got vaccinated when I had to get my tetanus shots. Right there in this orange building, which is really nice looking right now in the sunshine. Beautiful, beautiful Sagada.
Exploring Sagada by motorcycle is an incredible way to experience the beauty of the mountain province. If renting a motorbike, I would recommend leaving the docket mostly empty for the day. While there are tons of places to experience in Sagada, many of them take several hours to visit and require a guide and transportation. It is easy to lose most of the day by spelunking through the caves, hiking to Marlborough Hills, or trekking to Banaue Falls, which we visited in the last episode. These are all fantastic places to go, but to maximize your time with a motorbike, definitely save these for another day. It costs 1,000 pesos to rent a motorbike for 24 hours, which compared to many other parts of the Philippines is shockingly expensive. Even splitting the costs between the two of us, it was quite a lot, so we wanted to make the most of it and visit as many off-the-beaten-path destinations that might not otherwise make it on someone's Sagada itinerary. We will kick things off with breakfast at my favorite cafe in Sagada, perhaps in all of the Philippines, Gaia Cafe. The atmosphere here is so cozy, and on top of the incredible food, there are hundreds of books to choose from in their library. I could easily spend an entire day here reading and soaking in the breathtaking views. The food is organic, healthy, and delicious, and the coffees, drinks, and pastries also do not disappoint. It is by every measure an elite cafe and restaurant. The design is so unique, and being here just warms me up. It is definitely a mandatory part of any Sagada travel itinerary. I also popped over to Rustonwood Cafe next door to do a little souvenir hunting and have another great coffee. Granted, the view is not as breathtaking as Gaia's, but I do love my coffee, and it does not hurt to try as many cafes as possible. Afterwards, we hopped back on the scooter all the way down to Obwa Falls and a cave in search of a secluded blue lagoon to dive into. Unfortunately, we did not find any of our desired destinations, but hey, sometimes it is about the journey. We ended up hanging out by this secluded turquoise lagoon at the mouth of this limestone cave. Being the only ones here, we could soak in the peaceful atmosphere of this serene hidden gem all to ourselves for as long as we wanted. Our joyride continued around the area, stopping at every scenic viewpoint we could find, many of them without a name or a pin on Google Maps. Just a beautiful region of the Philippines all around, breathtaking everywhere you look.
So green. Oh my goodness.
Even though we failed to find what we came all this way for, we left this area happy and started making our way back up the hill after nearly 30 minutes of driving down the steep mountain roads in the pouring rain. Backtracking towards Sagada called for a quick stop at the Ambasing Bus Ruin, which is an unassuming grass lot with some abandoned buses. While I'm not entirely sure why it's become a popular stop for tourists visiting Sagada, it was fun to get a few unique shots playing around in the bus, which in hindsight was a low-key cool backdrop for some photos. We also saw a neon green snail, which was probably the highlight of the bus ruin.
Maybe you don't need to post a video about Sagada, maybe you just say, I found a neon.
The winding roads of the mountain province are so much fun to cruise around, and we worked our way up above Sagada town and headed towards Besao. What was there? We had no idea, but it gave us some sort of direction to aim for the day's adventures. About halfway between Sagada and Besao lies Danum Lake, a picturesque, peaceful lake where we enjoyed a little wander to break up the motorbike journey. It is a popular sunset spot for locals and tourists alike, and one can imagine how fiery the scenery can be when reflected on Danum Lake's unmoving waters.
What do you think that thing up there is?
A perfect place to stretch the legs and enjoy something different to Sagada's rice terraces and caves. Besao lied further down the winding mountain roads, but our drive was rewarded with incredible scenery of the most beautiful rice terraces in the area. Waterfalls cascaded in the distance, and had we arrived sooner, we might have endeavored to trek through the terraces. However, light was fading fast, and Besao, while a charming town, didn't seem to offer much in the way of guest houses or restaurants. Regardless, it was a cute place to stop and gave us a more authentic look at local life here in the mountain province. As we made our way back towards Sagada, near the top of the hill about halfway between Besao and Sagada is a pizzeria where we decided to have an early dinner. The family that runs the pizzeria seemed surprised at having customers, and a little guilt was felt on our end for interrupting their videoke party. Not for long though, as after taking our orders, they went straight back to belting out ABBA and Queen. The off-key musical melodies served as our soothing sunset soundtrack as we watched the clouds blanketing the mountains before feasting on the best pizza one could expect to find in a remote rural village of the northern Philippines. In other words, don't set your expectations too high. We cruised back home, stopping yet again at the cozy Gaia Cafe for a dessert, and a second dinner on my end, a carbonara with etag, the local sun-dried pork that Sagada is renowned for. Make sure you do not leave Sagada without buying a packet of this delicious, delicious pork.
Want some bread?
No.
Even the carbonara has a bit of smokiness to it.
My guess is, because with regular carbonara, you fry the pancetta and then you use that pancetta fat as a starter for the sauce. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's also what happened here, so you get some of that yummy etag flavor in pasta.
Yeah.
The motorbike adventures don't end there though, because like I said, the scooter rentals are for 24 hours. The next morning we cruised to a familiar favorite, Isang Wow, to have breakfast with a view, among the best that Sagada has to offer.
So heavily what?
It's even open for sunrise, so for a more ambitious early riser, it is an excellent sunrise spot.
Because the yogurt was good.
This closes out our time here in Sagada Mountain Province, and our adventures in Luzon continue in Ifugao, arguably the most breathtaking province of this island.
saying goodbye to Sagada yet again. This was my second time up here in this gem of the mountain province. Tiny little town filled with coffee shops and rolling green hills, rice terraces. Just such a unique destination, so different from what most people come to the Philippines for, which is the islands. So it's nice to experience a different side of the country. Leaving at 2 p.m. to go to Banaue, 3 hours away. We are now saying bye to Sagada. Look at this beautiful city in the mountain province of the Philippines. Some cows, basketball, there's a church. But this is just, the city itself is not much, but there's lots of big adventures. Now we go back towards Quezon City and to Banaue for the rice terraces and beyond.
The adventures are only picking up from here as we jump into secluded jungle waterfalls and trek through millennia-old rice terraces, arguably the most beautiful that the world has to offer. So stay tuned for more off-the-beaten-path Luzon adventures, truly among the most underrated travel destinations that the Philippines has to offer. And thank you all so much for watching. Maraming salamat. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to see more of what shenanigans we get up to. Toss over a like, drop a comment, and let me know any of your favorite spots in Luzon that we need to check out. Catch you all on the next video.